let's do the Purge election year. Shall we do that?
I think this is a rhetorical question.
Okay, well, I'm just asking you.
Is that
that's
the
what,
name? Is there a semicolon? Is there a colon there?
I will show you, actually. So, like that, that's what it looks like.
So the Purge is in big letters, and then there's a line underneath.
And then election year. Okay.
By the way, the opposite, according to Ned in New York, the opposite of a Kermodian rant is a Kermodian rhapsody.
Oh, very good. Yes.
I
like that.
It's almost like a song by Queen.
Very good, yes.
Is this just fantasy? No. It's a Kermodian rhapsody.
And that immediately makes me think of the Baron Knights, and that's not a good thing. So anyway, so the Purge series continues. The first Purge movie was described by its director as a politically subversive indie that would play in small art houses, was how he envisaged it. And actually then it turned out to be this kind of, much more successful thing than that. And it's a sort of, high concept idea in which once a year for over a period of 12 hours, all crimes, including murder, become legal. This is a way in which the nation can let out its bestial undercurrents. But actually it's something which is also then being used for political ends, as we discover in the next movie, The Purge Anarchy, which goes from the home invasion theme of the first film, goes out onto the sort of streets of the city, lots of class war, pot shots going on.
Are there bestial undercurrents there too?
Yes, at that point, it's absolutely to do with the ruling class and the privileged, moneyed class using the Purge entirely for political ends, rather than what they say it's doing is it's purging the country because the country is allowed to sin on a massive level, and then it can get on with sort of being not sinful. Right. But actually, what it is to do with is a political purge. So now we have the Purge election year, in which normally the politics is the fore. We have an election coming in which one of the candidates, Charlie Roan, lost her family in a purge, and she now wants to effectively abolish the purge. However, the forces that be the people in power have very, very good reasons for wanting to keep the purge, which are all to do with economic venality. And she's the kind of person who talks from the heart, talks to the people, wants to get out there and take risks, despite the fact that it's dangerous to do so. And Purge Night's coming as a clip.
What made you apply for this position?
I like your politics.
No, I want a real answer.
I lost my son some years ago. He was killed. I almost did something on Purge Night that would have destroyed a lot of lives. I want this night gone. I know you do too. Especially after what you lost.
Yeah. Despite all that, you have a big problem with how I do things.
You take risks, Senator. My job is to eliminate risks and keep you alive. You don't make that easy.
So on the sort of face of it, this has all the kind of politics to the forefront. It's obviously people are making comparisons with what's happening politically at the moment, because there's an election coming, and there's this kind of heroic figure who wants to change. There's another figure who's not so heroic and is dark.
I'm not quite sure how you're dividing that up.
I just couldn't possibly imagine how anybody could interpret that. The problem with the film is this: in a way, despite the fact that the politics are so overtly to the fore, it is in the end much more of a sort of generic action thriller than perhaps I would have wanted. I mean, I did get the feeling that whereas the second one actually was surprisingly grim and did manage to open out the scope of the first film and do something interesting with it, this felt more weirdly perfunctory. It's not bad, it's just not, it doesn't move things on in the way that perhaps I would have liked it to have done. So, I mean, I felt a certain degree of, it's fine. It felt like treading water. It's not terrible. Again, I know some people have been sort of quite down on it. It has an idea in it which is interesting, but what it doesn't do is there's not the sort of quantum leap from the first to the second there is from the second to the third. It definitely felt like, okay, we are treading water to some extent, and we're not moving things forward in perhaps the way that it should have done. But it's okay. It just felt much more generic